On today's program, I'm pleased to welcome Rob Allen. He's the owner of Allen's Dry and Clean Carpet Cleaning and co-founder of TruckMountForums. And Rob does other stuff as well. Rob, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Appreciate it, brother.
Rob, you are like one of the busiest men I know from what I see online and at trade shows. You have a lot of things going on. Cleaning company, you manufacture and sell products, and now you're doing some kind of road trip. So how do you do it
That's
all?
correct.
Tell us about that.
Honestly, the way I do it is I just don't have a lot of bad habits. And what I mean by that is I'm not an overdrinker. I don't party. I don't really play video games. I'm not involved in a lot of things like that, which eat up all of your time. And I just had a thread on TMF talking about that, about what eats up most of your spare time. And I was surprised how many people play video games, how many people are just watching videos all the time, like TikTok and stuff like that. So I've just learned to control my time and focus it mostly on work. And so by doing that, of course, I also keep my phone with me in my notes. And inside of my notes, each day, I've got it divided in three different sections. I've got things I need to do today, things I need to do soon, and things that I need to do eventually. And that's how I do it. And I just kind of go back and forth like that and move them around each day. And I've always kept notes. I think that makes a huge difference. If you don't have any notes, any direction, you're not going to get anywhere you're going. But that's how I do it. And on top of it, I'm a very driven person. I was just born that way. I wasn't like the type of person I've had people say, you're money motivated. No, I'm not. I'm just a driven person, and I care about service and quality, and then the money follows. So more people could learn from that if they just adapted that philosophy, because really at the end of the day, customers really just want a good experience. So if you can deliver a good experience and be a good person, they're pretty loyal for a long time.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I love those thoughts and the notes idea, because I do the same thing. I have on my phone, which goes to my iPad and my Mac, my note program, because without that, I probably would have forgot this appointment, Rob, right here.
You and me both. That's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. No, cool. Thanks.
Do that.
Now, I want to talk about your tour across America. I think it's called Clean Across America.
That's correct.
Talk about that. How did that come about? Just share some details there.
Well, I'd say about a year and a half or so ago. Can't remember exactly, but it might have been close to 2 years ago. My son was on me. He says, "Dad, you need to retire." He was always telling me to retire. I said, "Son, don't ever tell me to retire again." And he said, "How come, Dad?" He thinks he was helping me. I said, "Because what I found out, when people retire, they just die." So I said, movement is life, because I'm at a point where I could retire. But I said, "Look, I enjoy what I'm doing. How about this, son? How about I pick up a motorhome and I travel around the country and meet our clients?" And that way, and also, I hooked up my electric bikes, keep those on there. And I'll stop at different parks and campgrounds and stuff like that, because I got a camper van. By the way, I upgraded to a larger camper this year so I can carry more products for customers. And also, I can keep the gear. I was keeping some of the gear because we just had a camper van. So I was keeping a lot of the gear right inside the bed area and on the floor. So now this one has a gear area. I can put everything in there, including wands and just lots more things I can display with people. But I really wanted it to be a meet and greet. And it really, really was nice because I got to meet a lot of the customers who buy from us. And there's nothing that beats face-to-face. I mean, we are 3D creatures. So online, what do we normally see? Or we just usually see print. So, they don't see your facial gestures. You're not sitting down and eating dinner with them. So a lot of people think they know people online, but they really don't know them until you sit down and have a meal with them. So a lot of times I'll go out and invite them to dinner or to lunch. And surprisingly, Jeff, I try to buy people food. They buy me food. And they bring me gifts. They bring me wine or black label. We have black label pre spray. People bring black label alcohol. I must think I like to drink a lot. But, and they give me these gifts and they say, "Well, you made a huge impact on our business." And I never really thought about it that much. But I'm a big believer in the law of reciprocity. I've always believed to help other people become successful or do something, a good service for them, they'll help you become successful. And I think that's why my local cleaning business has almost 1,000 5-star reviews. It's almost 40 years old. And we built that by treating people right. You can't get that type of reviews without doing something right. So we've always gone the extra mile. And all I did was adapted that philosophy over to TMF. And TMF now has over 6,000 5-star reviews. And we hired, this was risky. We hired an independent service because some people said, whoa, they might not be real, or you could edit them. But we hired an independent review company. And my son said, Dad, that's kind of risky because really an enemy can come in there and write whatever they want. I said, yeah, somebody, if we get enough 5-star reviews, we do enough high enough quality, we can bury those. And sure enough, we probably only had 1 or 2 of those type of things happen. But for the most part, we have a lot of 5-star reviews. So we built up a good rapport with the clients. And instead of retiring, I was able to travel the country. And I hit Google, and I look for the guys with the better reviews. I feel like they're the people who appreciate the quality. So I pull into this place, and I'm going like, man, I'm just going to go right here cold turkey. You know what I mean? Kind of reminds me when I started my business. I just went door to door selling spotters when I started my carpet cleaning business, right? So I go in there, I open the door, and the owner sitting right there in the chair at his desk, he says, Rob Allen, what the hell are you doing here? You know what I mean? I was like in South Carolina. So I got a kick at it. He was really shocked that I was there. And so I ended up doing a video with him, and that worked out good. And then another time, I went to a customer's house. We could not find their phone number. It kept coming up as the wrong number. So apparently in the office, they had a number incorrect. So I went to their house, and the wife answers the door. And she says, oh my gosh, Rob Allen, what are you doing here? And this is California, right? And she knows that we're in Virginia. I said, well, I was coming by in the meet and greet and stuff like that. She said, well, I'm going to call my husband. She gets her husband on the phone, and she says, hey, by the way, Rob Allen's here. He says, no, Rob Allen's not there. You mean Rob Allen's packages and his chemicals are there. No, I mean Rob Allen's here right now. He didn't believe it. So he said, you put him on the phone because I don't believe it. So put me on the phone. He's kind of shocked. And then one more, I'll say, sometimes I'm riding around, I'll see people, carpet cleaners who are cleaning. Because, if you're just observing, you'll see cleaners driving around. You can follow them. Not in a bad way. Just follow them out to a job. I've seen cleaners cleaning, and I pulled up to this one house here, and they had a trailer out there, and he was cleaning. So I walked over there, and I said, man, I wonder if this guy knows me. I think I even put the video on YouTube. So I wonder if this guy knows me. Guess what? There was a TMF sticker on his thing there. So what did I do? He's in there cleaning with a truck mount. His hoses are going in. He's in a tight spot in an alleyway. I unhooked his hoses. So I unhooked his vacuum hose. So he runs out. Him and his helper said, oh my God, I thought my truck mount, the blower went out or something. But it's just you, Rob, man. So it's kind of cool. So this is really great experiences. And that's the experiences that we come across.
So I noticed, Rob, in the background there, you have Unchained on the wall. You have a product called that. So
yes.
So if I buy a gallon of that, will you come see me in Ohio?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
there it is,
listen,
folks.
all you got to do, if anybody wants to, they can PM me. One thing about me is I'm very accessible. You can find me online, or you can call TMF, and generally I'll talk with people or get to them as soon as I possibly can. But generally on Facebook or on our forum, or even on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, anybody can private message me, and I'll be glad to message them back. And a lot of people give me their addresses, and I've kept it in another place on notes, of course. And I've got a little log there of all the different places that I'm going to try to stop. I can't promise people. There's a lot of zigzagging through the different states. So I think we're going to we've got a little plan this year to try to make it more centralized in different locations that we go. We learned a lot in those 8 months. And the one thing we learned was the wife and I, that we've been married 42 years this year, in a camper van. Camper vans are all the rave online, and they're cool. They really are. They're cool for a month or two. But after that, when you got to go like this to walk around in it, and you don't have anywhere to sit. So we upped it to a not much larger, but the next size up, and we really love it. Really love it so far.
Yeah. When you're traveling the country, I imagine you have to be comfortable. It's your home. Yes. It's your home for several months. Rob, I want to talk about when you visit cleaners, and I watched some of your videos. When you see them and you talk to them, and you're like their coach, what do you see as what they need the most? Like, what would be an observation? Like, the industry is failing at this or needs help with this. What would you say?
I would say 3 things, and they all fall under one thing. And what do you think it might be, Jeff? You never
customer service, taking care of customers. Customer service.
That's true. That's true. This all rolls in it. Put you on the spot, didn't it, Jeff? So that's what happens. Now you know how it feels on this side, right? Just messing with you. Raise their prices. Because what's happening is some cleaners have a lot of knowledge, but they can't apply that knowledge when they're cleaning because they're in a hurry, because their prices are too low. And so, or they're having to do too many jobs, or they're not doing enough dry strokes, I was noticing, so they're just not delivering or they're not spending enough time with the customer. With my company, we only allowed 3 jobs a day. Some of these companies are doing 5 and 7 a day. It's very difficult to deliver high quality and a great customer experience. I'm a big believer in knock your socks off customer service and mind-blowing quality. If you can deliver that, you're going to have a customer for a lifetime. And that's what it's all about. So I think they're shortchanging themselves, not only financially, but also building that customer base and solid foundation that, like my own company, over 1,000, almost 1,000 5-star reviews. If I include Yelp and Facebook and all of that, we might be close to 1,500 5-star reviews. And that's all because we delivered that experience on a consistent basis. And there's another problem. They're not consistent. See how it all falls under the pricing structure problem?
Sure.
So that's the number one thing: their quality of workmanship, their service, the experience, their finances, their trucks are breaking down, or the truck's not as clean as it should be because they're in a hurry. All those things fall under the reason because they're just not charging enough.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get into that. And if you don't mind, Jeff, I want to give people a little tip. A little tip is they say, well, I just can't go up on my clients. They've been so good to me. I said, well, then don't. Go up on your new clients, right? And then over time, pull your other clients up and let your clients know next time you go to them, your lifetime clients are, oh, by the way, Mr. Jones, costs have gone up and stuff like that. I'm going to honor it this time. But next time, if you can tell them in person, that's even better. But next time, I'm going to have to raise my prices. And if they hear you and they hear the sincerity, and you know what, everybody's dealing with tougher times right now. So they understand. And that cost has to be offset somehow, and they understand it. And this is what I tell them too. I said, listen, I've had customers, I've gone to homes and I've had customers on many occasions say, hey, Rob, I have a confession to make. And that's kind of scary when somebody tells you they have a confession to make. I don't know what they're going to say, right? She said, well, I used somebody else in it last time. I said, that's okay. You know what she said? She said, no, that's not okay. She said, they charged me over $1,000. They were in and out in 30 minutes. All the stains came back. And I didn't realize it. They told me, hey, you want me to hit this stain, and that stain? And guess what, Jeff? They charged her $10 for every single stain without her knowing about it.
I guess they raised their prices.
Right. They raised their prices. So if a bait and switch can get a higher price and do a halfway job, more than likely, if you do a great job, that good taste is going to bring them back later on. My brother Keith, who sadly passed away recently, he had a lot of profound statements, and one of them he would always say, hey, Rob, they always come back. They always come back to quality. And he's right.
Yeah,
he's right.
I like that. Rob, everyone's raising their prices. No matter who you go shopping, you hire a service, yes. Cleaners need to do the same thing. They need to keep up. I don't know why there's that roadblock there in their minds, but I'm glad you're addressing it with your clients.
Well, Jeff, how long have you been in the industry? How long have you been in the industry?
Well, I cleaned for 15 years and I've been in the industry since, 30.
Well, then
34 years, I guess, total.
You and I both been around long enough to know that our industry's always lagged behind. Look at guys who I know who own HVAC companies and stuff like that, or plumbing companies. They're far surpassed us because they've raised their prices on a consistent basis. Some about carpet cleaning, and maybe it might be the carpet cleaner mentality because a lot of cleaners started out as a cleaner and never were a business owner. So they've taken that employee mindset and moved over into that. So they have to get out of that employee mindset and get into a business mindset and understand ROI, cost of doing business and stuff like that. And they could do a whole lot better that way. And once you change your perspective, if you're afraid to raise the prices and you're tentative, customers tentative too. It's up to you to take the lead. That's what makes the difference. So I always take the lead. When I go inside the house, customer's not leading me around. I make her think she's leading me around, but I'm leading her around about what the price is going to be, setting the expectation levels and all those different things right there. I'm the one who's setting all those parameters right there. And that's your job to do that as a professional. So you got to change your thinking first and be confident in your workmanship and realize you're worth more because you know what? You get what you think you're worth. So that's
yeah, that's true. That's true. And you have a nice series of videos that explain processes. And I love how in those, you take your time, you talk to the customer. I know you sit down in one of them, you sit down at a table with one of your customers. I think it's your wife in that video,
Yes,
but
right.
yeah,
Might be. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mrs.
great.
Jones, Mrs. Jones, by the way.
We
Mrs.
all have a
Jones.
Mrs. Jones, but
You're
yeah,
right.
that's a great bit of advice to slow down, take your time, and you only do 3 jobs a day.
Yes.
I've talked to some cleaners who have admitted like they do 10 or 12 at times, and it's like,
Well,
wow.
and guess what, Jeff? When you're there for a little while, that gives you time to do something, do a demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, a presentation without a demonstration is what? It's nothing really for the most part, you know? So really, it's just you need to take the time and go ahead and do a demonstration. So if you're already there, right, and you're cleaning the carpets, if she's seeing the quality workmanship, seeing the type of quality person you are, oh, Mrs. Jones, would you like me to do a little sample on your sofa right here? Oh, let me show you this right here. Where you can take the little sofa, take your hose, put a little towel over it, right, with your vacuum, go over it and show her the stuff. And a lot of people don't realize it, but your furniture is kind of made to hide soil. So if
Sure.
you want to clean it at least every year or so, would you like me to give you a price since I'm already here? So by raising your prices, doing less jobs, now you have time to do the job or upsell while you're there. You're just educating the client. Same thing with tile and grout. Oh, did you know we clean tile and grout? No, I didn't know you did that. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
make your kitchen, stuff like that, and your bathroom look good. So everything comes back to raising the prices. One more thing I want to mention. We did start an online school. So people want a little more in-depth. I have an online school. It's called TMF Academy, or you can find it at tmfshop.net, where you can find our Unchained and our Black Label and stuff like that. One more thing, and this is it. All right. Are you familiar with, when we're trying to come up with a name for our pre-sprays and stuff like that, my son said, Dad, what do you think would be a good name for pre-sprays? I said, son, well, knowing carpet cleaners, almost all of them I know, they like to have a good drink or a good beer or something like that. So I said, why don't we call it Black Label, Blue Label, and Red Label, and Green Label? And if you look up alcohols, they have different levels by the different colors and stuff like that. So that's kind of how we came up with the name. Just a couple little insider secrets and stuff like that of what
Yeah.
we do. But
No, it's interesting. It's cool to hear the details. So, well, Rob, appreciate your time today. I know you're planning your next trip, but let's
yep,
do this again when we'll share some more strategies from you with all the things you're doing out there in the world of cleaning.
absolutely.